All right, let's move on and talk about tires, but not any tire. These are tires for EVs. Do you own an EV? Have you purchased an EV tire? Jeff has all the
This
news.
story actually started when I was looking at an article that EVs don't have spares. And it's obviously for safety reasons and weight reasons, and that's another story altogether. But it led me to this, because a funny thing happened on the way to the petrol-free motoring bliss. The final piece connecting the car to the road is a tire. It uses air, it needs to be replaced every so often, and the demands that a motor places on traction, load, and noise are quite unique if that motor runs silent. There's no way around it. EVs require specific tires. Tires meant for EVs are engineered to withstand the additional weight, dynamic load, and traction that the demands of an EV require. Using non-EV tires, Mike, will likely result in far more accelerated wear, heat-related issues, and the potential of wheel spin from a stop. Even with traction control, Mike, you could experience a loss of direction stability. A long wide battery doesn't help an EV once it's moving and changing directions, and since the car is moving, the tire's dynamic load capacity must be up to the tasks. So you got that, Mike? Are you writing it down? Okay.
He's not even saying. He's not
I
even.
know.
He's
That's
in
what
some
I'm
other.
calling out.
We're taking notes.
The
Jeff.
engine in an ICE car, ICE internal combustion engine, draws out some of the road noise generated by the tires, putting a huge premium on quietness from all the components, especially tires. Tires begin to produce most of the sound from an EV, both inside and out, once the vehicle is up to suburban street speeds, which, 35 miles an hour is an average. And the noise only goes up on highways. Normal vehicles have been using active and passive noise cancellation for years, but today there's a much more computer simulated software to work out the designs and the quieter tread patterns to be louder. Big challenges when engineering a tire for an EV. Most electric motors deliver enormous torque more aggressively and instantaneously than most combustion engines. They send more significant shock to the tire. This puts a much bigger requirement on the performance envelope of the tires.
It's kind of like run flats.
Yeah, and they're going to be a stiff sidewall, and absolutely. But there's also a design, Mike, of air hitting the front of the tire, the coefficients. And in this photo here, this reminds me of my old Pirelli days where they had a tire dyno. And back in 2010 when they had the new Camaro coming out, and they had the 18s, 19s, 20s, and they had the 21, which is a special option to the tire for the SS. They used to blow these things up on there purposely. They would run them until they failed.
Yep.
So electric vehicles require lower rolling resistance than a normal tire, and it maximizes the vehicle's driving range. EV manufacturers want to capture every last morsel of range that they can get. Puts a much greater importance on the energy and efficiency of the tires. Low rolling resistance is not new, but a tire on an EV, it takes up 20 to 40% of the wear, whereas on an ICE engine, it's only 15 to 20%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because of the weight.
Because of the weight and the shifting, the motions. But Mike is onto that because they're using more run flats on EVs than anything else.
Well, that and
EV's heavier.
Right.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. And so what we're saying is that so when you pad the throttle,
like Buzz says he likes to do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That it really hurts those back tires. And I imagine that rotation is huge.
Rotation is important, and the average cost is about another $150 more for an EV tire per tire. And there have been EV owners that have said, after 4,000 miles, I got to replace my tires because of the way they drive the vehicle. They're thinking, like Buzz says, the hard acceleration, Mike's on-ramp acceleration test, those things wear more on an EV than it would be on a normal ICE.
Well, because, there are some that are all-wheel drive. There are others that are two-wheel drive.
Right.
The increase in torque from that electric motor is just causing
You're
that
always biting
tire
the tires,
to work harder.
biting.
Yeah.
It's like a top fuel dragster.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, again, it started out being one story, led to that, so I thought that was more important because Mike's got all the EV stuff.
I'd be interested to see what the average time, if you're driving, if a normal person, the tire life, what would be the normal tire life for, let's say, a Tesla that you don't go crazy with? How long would it last? 35,000?
Well, probably not. Probably less than that. Probably in the 25 to 30.
Even if you bought one of the
Teslas
expensive, longer mileage tires.
Right. Now, you can get brand names, and we showed some of the pictures of the brands of the Kumos, the Michelins, the Goodyears. They're all doing that R&D. Now, when I was with Pirelli, they used the R&D from the performance of the racing. And then they would institute that, which they all do now anyways, but more so with them. Goodyear's doing the airless tire. They've got the honeycombs in that, the cutaway.
It's not available yet,
No,
is it?
but they're testing, and it will be soon, I'm sure. Probably within the next 5 years. They'll do airless tires.
But that's going to differ from manufacturer to manufacturer.
Exactly.
Heck, the tires on Angela's GLC 300 Mercedes, I ended up replacing them at 15,000 miles because they were wore out.
Well,
she's not a hot rodder.
And that goes to a point because a softer compound tire will wear quickly. And I think the softer compound was because it was more of a luxury car, smoother ride. That makes sense when you buy it. Oh, I'm going to be enjoying it. It's like a living room couch driving, but you're wearing out the tires.
And the sidewall distortion adds to the wear of the tread as well, because as the sidewall distorts, the tread hits the ground a little bit different.
And that's where they have the noise reduction, the harmonic balance, so to speak, the harmonic noise, where the tread blocks are closer in some respect and wider in some. It's to all do with noise.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
You betcha.
The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In-Wheel Time Car Talk.